Well, hi there, friends. It is 6 a.m. on this Monday morning. Thanks for joining us on Up with KREM. I'm Channing Curtis.
And I'm Tim Pham. Well, hey, break out those sunnies today on this Monday morning because you will need it later this afternoon. It is going to be a beautiful start to the week. Here's meteorologist Thomas Patrick to break it all down for us. Hey there, Thomas.
Hey there. I was going to say, well, hold off on those sunnies for maybe an hour.
Okay.
We got to get to sunrise first.
That's right.
Because if you're wearing them at
But you
night,
can't leave them at home.
No.
if you're listening to that song, you know, the I wear my sunglasses at night, then you're okay. Then you're acceptable for this morning. Hey, we can make light of the weather today because it is going to be beautiful. It's 43 degrees right now, our typical 40s and 30s for this October morning, but it is going to be very warm for this afternoon. Well, again, for October standards, to get into the mid-70s starts to become a little bit more rare for this time of year, so we will certainly enjoy that, not just today, but multiple days in the forecast are still above 70 degrees.
All right, as you are waking up this morning, we want to help you prepare for your morning commute. Right now, we're taking a live look at I-90 and University Road. WashDOT actually closed the two right lanes of eastbound I-90 in this area as crews are working to install a new electronic reader board right there. So according to WashDOT, they plan to be off the roadway pretty soon here in just about an hour and a half or so. Then they'll be back out there later on tonight starting at 9 p.m. Now, of course, we'll keep an eye out on the traffic situation moving through this area and let you know if anything slows you down on your way into work.
Happening today, Spokane City Council will discuss an amendment to the Community Safety Ordinance. KREM 2's Brandon T. Jones is live at City Hall for us this morning.
So, Brandon, we know this measure will be on the upcoming ballot. So what kind of conversations will be taking place tonight?
Yeah, good morning, Tim Channing. Well, as some background on this new proposal, it's a new tax that would fund city resources like the Spokane Fire Department and the Spokane Police Department, among others. So if it is passed this November, Mayor Lisa Brown says the new tax would cost the average Spokane resident around $1 for every $1,000 they spend. In the original proposal, the mayor said roughly $6.5 million per year would stay in the city of Spokane and will be dedicated to community safety enhancement. At tonight's meeting, council members will discuss how the Community Safety Fund will be a restricted fund, clarifying that funds will go directly into those safety resources mentioned, such as the Office of Police Ombudsman and Municipal Court. The mayor and council president Betsy Wilkerson have mentioned this step increases transparency. So again, the new proposal will be on ballots this coming November. But for now, reporting live here in front of City Hall, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
The time now is 6:03. Let's take a look at this morning's top stories. Right now, there's an urgent search in Grant County. Sheriff's deputies are looking for 54-year-old Richard Smith from Moses Lake. Here's a look at his photo. Smith left to go fishing on the O'Sullivan Potholes Reservoir Thursday morning and has not been heard from since. However, his truck was found at Medicare Beach along the north shore of the O'Sullivan Reservoir. Smith is described as 5 feet 9 inches tall. He's bald with a white goatee. Anyone with information is asked to call the number there on your screen. This morning, a Grant County road is back open after a person died in a crash involving a tractor trailer over the weekend. The Grant County Sheriff's Office says it happened at Road 4 Southeast and Road U Southeast. We are expecting more details later this morning. In Idaho, Friday's dust storm caused a major pileup on US 95 near Genesee. Officials say the low visibility caused several crashes and lots of backups. Idaho State Police say multiple drivers were hurt, but off-duty first responders and Good Samaritans were able to help. ISP says more than 60 vehicles were involved. Wow. Ambulances took 3 people to area hospitals for their injuries. All evacuations and road closings for the Wallen fire near Moscow have been lifted. The Idaho Department of Lands reports the fire is now 100% contained. Officials say it ended up burning about 135 acres. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. And new this morning, Coeur d'Alene will soon be home to a new temple for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This is video of the temple in Moses Lake that was finished last year. The Moses Lake Temple took 3 years to finish. We do not know yet the size of the new temple in North Idaho yet. The Coeur d'Alene Temple, though, is one of 17 new temples being built across the globe. That's a look at this morning's top stories. This morning, a hurricane watch is in place for much of Florida's Gulf Coast as yet another storm takes aim at the state.
Within just the last hour, we have learned it has strengthened into a Category 3 storm. It's expected to move northeast towards the Florida peninsula by the middle of the week. This new storm comes as 6 southern states continue dealing with the devastation that Hurricane Helene just left behind. While Milton gathered steam over the weekend, Floridians prepared by getting sandbags and groceries.
The entire Florida peninsula on the Gulf side has the potential to have major impacts from storm surge. How that storm ultimately develops in terms of the track will obviously have a big impact in terms of which areas are going to get more damage than others.
Forecasters say that Milton could potentially cross Florida and head out into the Atlantic. That would then spare Georgia and the Carolinas from the devastation of another major storm.
Meantime, the death toll keeps rising in the wake of Hurricane Helene. More than 220 people died in the deadliest hurricane to hit the U.S. mainland since Katrina. Helene dumped 14 inches of rain on Asheville, North Carolina. The death toll there reached more than 60, with dozens still unaccounted for. As the water continues to recede, residents are returning to see what's left of their homes. One person says he dropped flood insurance when new floodplain maps were drawn for his area.
We're not expecting, obviously to replace the house or anything off of any sort of insurance money. We are applying for FEMA disaster relief, and we are hopeful.
In the meantime, the effects of Helene are trickling down to the rest of the country. There is concern over a nationwide shortage of IV fluid after the storm damaged a facility in Baxter, North Carolina that provides IV fluids to hospitals.
And I've got the latest forecast on Hurricane Milton as it is strengthening massively over the Gulf of Mexico right now. In fact, in the last 24 hours, it has ramped up in a big way, as predicted as well, as it went from tropical storm strength all the way to now Category 3. And looks like as of this hour, there are Hurricane Hunter planes in the vicinity. It's got it listed as Category 4. I'm going to actually look at that on my side monitor while you see the forecast, as it is going to stay at Category 4 through the next 24 hours at least. Likely makes landfall on Florida's Gulf Coast for Wednesday night or Thursday morning. Yeah, it looks like Milton probably, I still have it as a Category 3 via the National Hurricane Center information that is in front of me, but still, it is right on the cusp either way, as it has strengthened in a big way. There are the hurricane watches all throughout Florida's Gulf Coast, and this does include some areas that Helene had affected just a couple of weeks ago. So this is going to be another devastating storm later on this week. So certainly thinking of all of our friends and neighbors that are in the southeastern U.S.